The Promised Neverland, episode 11, was titled 140146. And man, this week's episode of The Promised Neverland, was so freaking amazing. I really love The Promised Neverland, the anime and the manga. The manga's damn great, and the anime is pretty good as well. The art and animation of this episode was pretty good. I liked it. It was pretty good with the how the animation stuff did with Ray's facial expressions and stuff like that, and Isabella's as well with the fire and everything, which I'll get to. The animation did freaking great on that. I really liked it. It shows like the emotion and everything, which was amazing. The writing and everything was pretty good as well. I liked it. So here we go. Let's get right into this week's episode of The Promised Neverland. So, in last week's episode, Norman got shipped off and all that, and Ray and Emma was about to talk, and then the episode ended last week, and we go into this week's episode. So yeah, Ray and Emma's talking, and it's been 2 months ever since Norman got shipped off. I think he got shipped off in November, it said, and we are now in January. I think Ray's birthday is January 15th. It's the day that he's going to get shipped off, because he'll be turning 12 years old. So yeah, that's how old he is. So Ray pretty much got a plan. Ray and Emma's talking about a plan of how to escape and all that. So they started talking about a plan because it is January 14th, if I'm not mistaken, the night before Ray's birthday. So yeah, Ray and Emma's talking about a plan of how to escape, and they started coming up with plans about Ray pretty much talking about setting a fire. And the plan was about the fire that it was going to set. It was going to set a fire, and then Ray and Emma will, then Isabella will come out of her room and all that, because she would notice a fire and stuff. Now, she got little babies and stuff in her room and stuff. So Isabella will walk into the dining room or whatever, seeing the fire and all that, and try to put out the fire. And while Isabella's distracted, and while Isabella's focused on the fire and all that, Emma and stuff will pretty much go get all the kids out. Don and Gilda already knows about the plan. And it was pretty interesting. Ray was talking about, while setting the fire, he got the oil and stuff. He spreads it all over the floor. But then, after Ray spread the oil all over the floor, Ray and Emma was talking again. And it was talking about, what if Isabella pretty much is trying to put out the fire, but she can't put out the fire, and then tries to escape herself. And pretty much Ray was like, well, with the door, we will pretty much rig the door, pretty much. Put something to the door so she can't open it, can't use your key to open up the door. Put it inside the lock or whatever. So yeah, that's what Ray was talking about, and Ray was talking about how she ain't going to keep, she's going to keep her eyes on the merchandise and all that, talking about them. So yeah, that's what Ray was talking about. But then Ray grabs the oil and dumps it all over herself, and Emma's like, "Why are you doing that?" Pretty much, and Ray was like, "I'm going to set myself on fire and stuff." So yeah, that's what Ray's plan was, to set itself on fire, because it'll give them enough time to escape and stuff. He's pretty much saying that he wants to die, because he knew the day was going to come that he was going to die, pretty much. But he wants to die inside the house. He said he's not going to pretty much be a meal for the demons and all that stuff. That's what Ray was saying. He's saying screw that. He will kill him. He'll kill himself. He'll commit suicide. So yeah, that's what Ray was saying. And Ray was saying if he does that, Isabella would be more focused on putting out the fire on him and stuff, and not even focusing on the other kids, because he is the one to get shipped out the next day. So yeah, that's what Ray's plan is. And so pretty much we see Ray pretty much got a match or whatever, and Ray sets the match on fire. He's about to drop the match and all that. But then we see Emma pretty much dive, and then the scene cuts out. And then we see Isabella pretty much noticing, screaming and stuff. And Isabella runs into the dining room, and she sees the fire. Emma is down on the floor crying about Ray, and apparently Ray caught himself on fire, pretty much dying and all that. So yeah, Isabella pretty much notices that, and she looks at the freaking tracking device and notices that Ray is inside the fire. And Isabella trying to put out the fire and stuff. And we see Don and Gilda pretty much grabbing all the kids, and all the kids are waiting at the gate now. And so Emma pretty much went there as well. And then Isabella looks at the tracking device again, goes through the fire and stuff. Somehow she has to save the brain, because if she saves the brain, he's still merchandise. So yeah, pretty much she goes into the fire, and she sees, and she grabs the bucket and stuff that the tracking device was locating her to, and she grabs the ear, and it was Ray's ear inside the bucket. And Emma cut off her ear as well. So yeah, both of their ears are, I think Emma's ear. I think both of their ears pretty much had cut off. And it was like a tracking device. So Isabella pretty much straight up knew that they're escaping. And we see Emma and Ray and Norman, Emma, Ray, and the rest of the kids pretty much trying to escape. And we see Ray there. We all thought that Ray pretty much killed himself. But no, what happened, this is what happened. Like, while Ray was setting the fire with the match, and he drops the match, we get like a little flashback of Emma actually going to it and catching the match, putting it out and stuff. And that's when she was talking to Ray, telling him, you don't gotta kill yourself. We'll just act this out and get all the kids, because all the kids already know. And the way how she found about how she already knew that Ray's going to try to kill himself, because apparently before Norman got shipped out, Norman wrote inside a book saying that Ray's going to pretty much kill himself, that he's going to set the fire. It would be most likely the night before his birthday, saying that. So yeah, that's what Norman wrote in the notebook and all that. And all the kids do know, because Emma tells Norman, saying most of the kids are very intelligent. Like, they need to know, and it'll be much easier for all of us to escape. And all the kids actually, knows about it, like the rest of them. And pretty much they heard about Sister Crone and all that when Sister Crone was actually talking to Norman and Emma a couple episodes back before Sister Crone died. Pretty much listening on them, their conversation and all that, hearing about that stuff. So yeah, all the kids already knows about the plan and stuff, So they're planning to escape and all that. And, and I forgot to say about this one scene. When Ray and Emma was actually talking about the plan to escape, they actually did brought up about the bridge and stuff, because, there ain't gonna be no security pretty much around the walls and stuff, because there's a cliff, but there will possibly be security and stuff if they do go through the bridge and stuff. So yeah, they did talk about that. They did mention about that, which I forgot to talk about. So yeah, Emma and Ray and them is all escaping, and yeah, Emma did save Ray for stopping him putting out starting the fire on himself and stuff, and smacks the hell out of him in the flashback and all that. And but then we see Isabella pretty much going to that secret room, the door, and she's trying to open it because she gets a key. But what happened was Norman actually had Sister Chrome's key and stuff, and didn't match up with the door, so she couldn't get. Well, she had a key and stuff, and tried to unlock it and stuff, and she couldn't unlock it because of Ray and Emma pretty much setting the trap. So yeah, she couldn't get to headquarters to tell headquarters that the kids are escaping. So she's outside the house pretty much talking about, and then she had Ray's ear in her hand. And pretty much it was talking about, she was talking about, like, she was going crazy. She was going out of her mind, talking about the merchandise and all that. And then we see Emma and Ray and them pretty much stopping for a second. And then we see pretty much like Norm, like, how can I say it? Like how when apparently like a character's dead or whatever, you see like a ghost of them and they push them, but they're not really there or whatever. That's what pretty much we see Norman do. Like he was like a ghost or whatever right beside Emma and pushes her forward. Stuff like that, even though he's not around. But yeah, that was pretty cool right there. So yeah, and then Emma and the rest of the kids running off, and then Ray started noticing that that's not all the kids. And then we see Isabella going crazy, and then we see somebody grab her. And then apparently it was one of the kids. It was Phil. So yeah, Phil is still out at the house, and the episode ends. So yeah, pretty good episode. I liked it. With the whole entire plan with the fire and stuff was amazing. Definitely can't wait for next week's episode of Promised Neverland, because they're still there on the farm. So yeah, Emma and Ray and them still needs to escape. They're still on the farm. And not only that, Phil is at the house, and we'll be finding out some stuff probably next week in next week's episode or whatever about Phil. Because he's pretty interesting, because of everything that's been going on. Phil's been there. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see about what's going to go on with Phil and Isabella in next week's episode. Definitely can't wait for that. But yeah, that'll be definitely next week, episode 12. I think that's going to be the last episode of the season, if I'm not mistaken, for season 1. And then Promised Neverland is going to be off for a little while. So yeah, I think next week's episode, if I'm not mistaken, will be the last episode of this arc. So yeah, it does suck that season 1 is pretty much coming to a close. But yeah, that's all I get to say about it. But yeah, next week will be the last episode for season 1, episode 12. That'll be next week. So yeah, I'll definitely be reviewing, episode 12 next week. So yeah, look out for that. Now I do got some stuff to say. So One Punch Man season 2 will be airing April 9th, if I'm not mistaken. I will definitely be reviewing that episode when it comes out, So with the trailer and stuff, I have watched it, and I will be reviewing the trailer possibly tomorrow. So yeah, look out for that. It'll be up on my channel. If you like One Punch Man, look out for the review on the trailer, and I will definitely be reviewing season 2. Every episode as a whole. So yeah, look out for that as well. But yeah, that's all I get to say about this week's episode of the Promised Neverland stuff. In my opinion, like I said, it was a great episode. The art and animation was pretty good. The writing and stuff was pretty good as well, and the pacing was as well. Amazing episode. I'll give a 9.5 out of 10 stars. That's why I'll give it. It was a great episode. I really liked it. Not my favorite episode out of this season of The Promised Neverland, but it's pretty much in the top 3 for sure. With the planning wise and all that stuff, it was amazing. But yeah, that's, like I said, that's all I get to say about this week's episode of The Promised Neverland. Like, subscribe to TNW Wrestling on YouTube. Subscribe to this channel, Word of Chris 1800. Subscribe to my other channel, Chris Medeos. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook. Yeah, I'll be down there in the description box. So you can follow me on all my social media accounts. Like this video and comment on this video about what you guys think about this week's episode of The Promised Neverland. In my opinion, it was a pretty good episode. It was an amazing episode. And yeah, like I said, next week's episode should be the last episode of season 1. So yeah, I will definitely be reviewing that. So yeah, look out for the review next Thursday. So yeah, that's pretty much what I got to say about this week's episode of The Promised Neverland. And I'll see you guys later into the next video.